Hey everybody, welcome to the Chesscast. Today we are going to be going over a game between Bobby Fischer and Paul Keres. Now the purpose of the Chesscast is for a variety of players from a variety of different ratings to go over a game together and see the different levels of understanding that different players have about the game. My name is Orren. I'm rated approximately 2300 on Lead Chess, depending on the day. Um,
My name's Orion, and I'm roughly 1400 now on Chess.
My name is Juan. Roughly 1730 on lead chess.
he's in the back there in the corner.
And,
We have one guy
and
on voice chat here.
and I'm Aaron. I'm rated roughly 2,000 on lead chess.
Great. So, without further ado, we're going to get started. One thing I like, so I'm working off of Bobby Fischer's My 60 Most Memorable Games. And one thing I like about these is that it's got quotes for like everyone. So I'm going to read off the quote for this one. Occasionally one comes across a miraculous victory in which, despite intensive postmortems, there seems to be no losing move or pattern, no blunder on the part of the vanquished. But how can that be possible? A loser must make a mistake somewhere, however infinitesimal, however it may evade detection. Is it Keres' opening novelty which leads him to disaster? Could his defense have been improved afterwards? If so, where? Whatever the answer, the reader is invited to share the magnifying glass with Fischer and hunt for that elusive error. This game is called the Detective Story. So, let's get started. The game started off with e4, and Keres replied e5. Standard e4, e5. Every player knows how this goes. Knight f3, knight c6, and many of you might know where this might be going. Bishop b5. So we're already met with the Ruy Lopez, which is like one of the most popular openings ever. And it's got so much fucking theory that I think that no one in their right mind should play sidelines except for GMs. But yeah, this is one of the most standard opening approaches. Basically, you're trying to kill the knight and do something here, and believe most of the time, it leads to a lot of craziness. The standard move. This is called the Morphy defense. You play a6 to kick back the bishop. Standard reply. You bring the bishop back to a4. Any questions so far?
Nope. Why not just take the knight?
So this is always like the question, right? And I ran into this a bajillion times when I was studying the Ruy Lopez. Why not just take the knight? So there's a billion ways this can go. You have both options to capture. And so your real question is, well, then I'm just going to take the pawn, right? So which one do you want to take with as black?
Let's do maybe the B pawn to open the file for the rook.
So b takes. Now, what happens if I take with the knight? That's the real question, right?
You can hit it with a queen.
Yeah. And then you simply can't defend the pawn. If I go here, right, then you can kick my knight in one of two ways, and then we take this pawn. So you're not actually winning the pawn in this variation, regardless of which pawn you take with. If you take with the other pawn, same problem. Here, and actually here there's also a really nice move, queen here, which is also theoretical. Can't defend both. You gotta bring the knight back, similar concept. So yeah, this is actually better for black. And so the Morphy defense was sort of built around the fact that you really can't take the knight. And so Fischer pops it back to a4. Then we get knight f6. This is sort of the standard way to play it. This can develop into like what's really topical right now is called the Archangel's defense. And you have two different versions of that, and they involve eventually playing b5 and developing the bishop onto the fianchetto diagonal. Okay, so he castles another standard move here. Once again, this pawn is looks like it's hanging, but it can be very, very complicated to take it. If you want to run through that, we can.
Yeah, can we do that real quick?
Yeah. So knight takes here. Anyone have any suggestions?
I guess similar idea, bring the queen in, or the rook even.
Okay, so you want to bring the rook in?
Sure.
Okay. So once again, similar concept, but in reverse now. If I try to defend this knight, let's say with either of these pawns, notice that this pawn behind it has not enough defenders, right? So we can still kick the knight. The knight's got to go back. Not really many good squares. Let's say the knight goes here, there's actually a good way to get out of this. And this is a pretty important kind of thing to notice.
Because you hit the bishop.
Right, so he's hitting the bishop, but the white actually has a way to get a pretty advantageous...
Can you just take
Right, take what?
the knight?
Exactly. You take the knight, force him to take, and now you still get this pawn with either the knight or the rook. And if you think that you take with the knight, you're threatening discoveries. You can't even block so easily because the knight takes here. And it's just a nightmare position for black.
Yeah, I think an important thing to note here too is in this position to show what happens if we do knight takes the e-pawn.
Immediately?
So that way, yeah, just that way
Yeah.
you can see
This one's also really disgusting. So what happens if I take the bishop? You guys see it?
Oh, you can win the queen.
Yeah, knight takes knight, discovered check. Boom, queen's gone. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways. Regardless, you just can't take this pawn comfortably. And so you have a lot of recommendations here from book lines like bishop e7, b5. That will bring you to the archangels. Knight takes e4, as you can see, actually is good for black sometimes. I'm actually interested. Let's see why. Knight takes e4. What are the common continuations here? I'm actually really interested. Yeah, we play rook here. How do you solve this? You just give it away. Interestingly enough, you could just give it away. Although I really think that if I were to evaluate this, I think it's better for white, but maybe not. I mean, maybe it's just roughly equal. You get your bishop here. I don't know, because maybe you have to move the king away, because what about like shit like this? Now you can't castle. I don't know, this seems crazy.
You can push the b pawn to attack the bishop.
Yeah, but then the bishop gets to where it wants to be anyway.
And then you can push your d pawn to attack the rook.
Agreed. Now we just need to put the rook in a sensible square that doesn't get attacked. I think this is sensible.
Wait, why can't you castle there as black?
Well, the problem is that this bishop
the
loses a defender.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. This is why I don't play the Ruy Lopez. It's so much theory.
It's very messy.
Yeah, it's super messy. Yeah, so like, yeah, you can attack the rook, but like if I bring the rook back somewhere sensible, you still can't castle.
I mean, this is true, but I guess maybe you get a little bit of expansion. You
Definitely. You might get development. You could even maybe try to do something like this and get the bishop out this way, although it's very unusual. You could still go for the king.
I kind of like the idea of pushing the c pawn there just to see how that bishop's going to react.
Right here, you usually play c3, trying to get over here.
And I mean, you can push again to just take more space.
Definitely. It's a very imbalanced opening.
And then from here, I think you could probably develop your bishop to e6.
Yeah. Oh, to e6 you want? Oh, that's a sensible way to do it.
Yeah, then now if you need to castle, you can.
That's actually not a bad idea. Yeah, I like that, actually. I like that.
But I mean, to be fair, the h7 pawn will be a weakness in the future.
Yeah, because the whole point is in a lot of Ruy Lopez's to play this and get here anyway. So, yeah, it's very double-edged. Anyone else have any ideas here? Yeah. Knight takes... Okay. I'm wondering what else you could do. Bishop takes c6. Okay. So I guess if you play bishop takes c6, it's actually better for black oftentimes. At least there's one win where black took this way. I guess, yeah, you can do what you were saying. Just get this bishop here, and you're just good to go. You get the open file for the queen. Kind of nice.
And even in a position like this, maybe instead of doing, bishop to e7, you can think of bishop to d6. No, after you played the bishop.
Oh, yeah. You don't even need to do
Yeah.
something passive. You can like pop the bishop this way. I can understand why, but I think that if you don't go for this, you just take the pawn immediately. I think white would be better a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the only thing that I can think of that would be super passive is if you want to bring your knight back to e7, but I don't really like that idea.
Like this?
Yeah, it just looks
Ooh.
too jumbled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone have any other interesting comments about this sort of stuff?
I like playing it on Lee chess.
I mean, I recommend learning it because everyone knows it to some degree. So many players know the Rui Lopez. At least up to like here. What?
Not on Lee chess.
Not Lee chess, yeah. So you think at your rating range, it's like not common for people to know what to do about this?
Yeah, I feel like I guess like back in the old chess.com days, this was like the main opening.
Yeah.
Up until like 1500, but then when I started Lee chess again, like no one plays this opening ever.
Yeah. Do you think there's a lot of D4s in your rating range?
Oh yeah, there's always Queen's Gambit.
There's like an obnoxious amount of queen. I remember at like a certain level, there was just Queen's Gambits all the time.
Yeah.
Ryan, have you run into this before?
Yeah, there's a lot of queens gambits.
Have you run into this before? The
the
Rui
Rui
Lopez?
Lopez? Yeah, actually pretty often.
Yeah. I really had to study this because I used to really freak out about losing this pawn. I think it's one of the most common things to freak out about, right? You're like, but there's so many ways to trap everything. Yeah. Okay, so he played back to the game. A6, bishop A4. Then we had knight F6, right? Castles, and this is where we were. Bishop to E7 was played. So he's playing it real slow, just trying to get developed. Rook E1. So yeah, I think this is pretty standard setup. You're basically just developing everything you need to. You don't really want to give up this pawn too many times, especially now that the bishop's there. I'm thinking because you're about to castle anyway, so this would just be a win of a pawn almost. I say almost because maybe they're still trapped. Like the same situation might apply where like, let's say I play like a dummy move like, I don't know. And then they take this. I mean, it still seems like you could do all this stuff that we were talking about, but with a lot less oomph because the file's not open anymore. So I don't think you want to even try to trap here. You want to just like defend this pawn now, I think. One reason also that you don't really develop this knight, per se, is that, again, this bishop is sometimes pushed. You sometimes will push here and try to get this bishop on this diagonal very often. So that's another reason why the knight might not have been developed to defend this pawn. But okay, rook here. Let's see, rook e1, b5, standard stuff. Bishop b6, I assume. Bishop b3, I mean, sorry. We had d6, c3. Yeah, as you see, this is exactly the plan. Like, actually, I think in the recent World Championship match, there was a Rui Lopez that looked kind of like this. Although, yeah, because, I mean, it was a similar... It started with the Morphy defense. It switched up later, but this idea was employed as well there. Between Magnus and Nepo. Okay, black castle. And then we had h3. h3. So the idea is to stop any funny business here because you're... I think an interesting point that the question sometimes I think players of a certain rating confront is... Like, when do you have to do this, and when should you not, right? Like, it is, in a sense, a weakening move, but at the same time, it has purpose, and in a lot of positions, it's good. Sometimes you want to maintain this pawn because you might want to push here instead. But I think a good rule of thumb that I use pretty often is if your bishop can't come to cut off the pin, then you should always address the pin with the prophylactic move. because this bishop is no longer on the diagonal that can allow you to unpin. So this pin gets a lot more nasty as a consequence. So that's something to keep in mind. That's like why h3 was played. But actually, apparently 2 games ago in this book, Fischer, instead of this, replied with d4. So that's another interesting shot, because you're just trying to break open the center immediately. All right. So then he played knight a5. This is also pretty standard stuff. Obviously, the idea is that you're trying to get that bishop immediately. This bishop ends up being a very strong piece if you're not careful. So the immediate knight a5 is something. The other thing is that it's clearing off this diagonal. Anyone have any suggestions for white?
Maybe just move the bishop
Where?
back.
Yeah, that's the natural square. Anyone else? Anything else?
Yeah, I would play that first, but the idea is after that bishop kills to c2 is push d4.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then get the knight or bishop out.
This is exactly what you want. You want the knight out this way.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is the setup that you should look for in a Rui Lopez. You're like on the right track if you've gotten something like this.
That black's like knight to a.
It seems a little like artificial, right?
Yeah. It's like awkward. It's awkward.
Yeah.
Knights on the side are.
Yeah. On the other hand, once this bishop moves, which is your plan, this knight gets an outpost here. Not an outpost because it can get attacked, but it can be an annoying square to deal with. Let's say you've committed to d4. Now the only pawn that can kick this knight out is here, right?
That's true.
So it's something to keep in mind that this knight actually finds a home here sometimes.
I'm not really concerned though, even if, let's say, I can only push my b pawn to
Yeah.
because maybe I might want to put my bishop to b2, maybe a3 in certain situations if I want to try to keep some tension.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. But I think this knight move also opens up the scope of the bishop, so it's a dual purpose move here.
Guys, I'm gonna step out. I gotta get my car to Alex.
Oh, no problem.
I'll be back.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's got multi-purpose. It is a weird move. Like you don't see this happen very often.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. All right, so we have bishop to c2, natural.
Yeah.
And then what would you play as black here?
I mean, my natural thing would be just to bring the bishop to b7.
Bring the bishop to b7. Yeah, I was thinking the same. Aaron, any ideas? I know you're seeing the move that was played, but like.
Yeah, I mean, bishop b7 seems like a pretty natural idea as well too. The only other thing I can think of maybe long term is if you want to try to open up that file somehow. So it might look a little bit strange, but maybe if you could figure out another square for your knight that's currently on f6, if you
Like
could figure out
this?
another. Well, maybe not there because I don't like the idea of keeping the knight. So, for example, if I move it there, the queen is able to X-ray the knight.
That's
if
true.
white moves their knight.
But practically speaking, what knight move does white have here?
I was thinking possibly knight to d7.
Knight to d. Right. Oh. You're saying it's black. Oh, knight
Right,
to d7.
right, it's black.
That's an interesting idea too. Yeah.
Yeah, either that or maybe even knight to e8. I was actually thinking as well too.
But
Just
another.
so that way,
Oh, knight to e8.
yeah, knight to e8. And just so that way, in case I do want to eventually move my f pawn, it's defended by both the bishop and the rook.
Yeah, that's pretty good too. The only reason I don't like this is this knight doesn't have many prospects until this push is done, this exchange is done, and then you can get this knight out. So you have to be comfortable with that.
But I feel like with white's position too, they don't really have much of an attack yet either.
That's true. The other question is, so your point is, do you want to trade off these? This is another thing. You want to trade off these bishops? Or do you want to use your bishop for a different purpose? Like it's sort of like a dual purpose thing because, I mean, it's a sort of a double-edged thing. Because this bishop looks strong, but it's stuck behind a pawn. Your bishop could be equally as strong on this diagonal. Another one to point out that I was thinking of, I like your idea of moving the knight, but I was actually thinking here. Because my question is, what does white do? Can you do you have a good suggestion for white?
Maybe that G push. That's like aggressive.
So here's the problem with G5, G4, sorry, is you have knight here. This is my whole idea with this move. You're attacking this pawn, and this bishop's eyeballing this pawn. So I'm seeing a lot of pressure, and there's actually no way to kick this knight out. And also, you can't even play G3 because I get to take here.
Well, I guess then maybe. Well, the idea before with just D4. No.
Yeah.
D4 can still kind of be.
Right now, so knight here. You're saying knight here, D4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to get
That's true. Weakens
options
the
for
center.
development, right?
Also weakens the center a lot.
Yeah.
Like this is not as stable of a home.
Yeah.
Because you can take and take.
And the bishop's
Right, the bishop's eyeing this, so that's also probably a good reply to that. I agree.
Yeah, no, I like D4 there, or if you feel less aggressive, D3. But
Even D3, yeah.
Yeah, but D3 seems kind of slow. I mean, I guess the plus side is you're taking away the C4 square from Black's knight.
Yeah.
D3 instead of D4, but I feel like if you want to open up the center, then D4 would make more sense.
I definitely agree. Definitely agree.
Yeah, and then I think one thing that we definitely need to point out too, the whole reason for moving this D pawn, one, we're trying to open up the center if we play D4,
Yeah.
and then two, we're also trying to take away that F4 square from the knight.
Mm-hmm.
So worst comes to worst, we can always trade it off.
Yeah, snap it off. Yeah, so maybe your idea with the knight move is also sensible, unless you think that your dark square bishop is strong enough to, like this bishop won't be able to offset this bishop. If you think that this bishop can have prospects, then maybe you want to trade your knight off for that bishop. So it's another question you should ask yourself in that respect.
Bishop versus knight's always a tricky concept there.
In bullet, I prefer knights. In every other situation, usually bishops. Most of the time.
I think for me too, a lot of it is the pawn structure. So
True.
when the position is more closed, then you get more flexibility with knights. Whereas if you start to trade off more pawns and you have more open diagonals, then bishops can definitely show their true potential there.
And I think that while this position looks closed, it's not at all because of all these situations to open. So I actually think the bishop here might be better in the future.
No, I think so too. I think the bishop can be better in the future. I think though that if you look at the dynamic of, so if we just play a couple of moves, for example, right? So
Yeah, play
let's say we go with your knight h5 idea here, right? And then let's say, for example, I want to push the D pawn and you play knight f4.
Yeah.
If I do trade this off now, I feel like this position becomes a lot more closed now.
That's true, but yeah, well, from the white perspective, or because from the white perspective, you could always try to pop it open with a move like this.
Right, but the thing too is that white is the one with the two knights, so if they want to keep it more closed, it's.
On the other hand, you open up the scope for this bishop, which is something that I'm constantly thinking about in this sort of position. But maybe you're right that you could just wait for the right time to do that. Like you can bring the knight out here. And
then this is also a time too where I guess you can, as black, right now it's a move, but I mean a potential idea is to push your f1 because it's going to be defended by the bishop.
Yeah. Then now you really want to trade. Now you'd really want to trade your bishop for their bishop. Yeah. Yeah. In this case, the dark square bishop doesn't look that great.
No, definitely not. It's because you have all these pawns on dark squares that are just limiting its mobility so much.
Yeah, I think I agree. All right, let's keep rolling.
Yeah, going off on tangents here.
So black one was c5 actually, which is a really interesting idea. I think its main purpose is to really clamp down on this d4 push. Not that it's not possible. If you count it out, you could still do it, right? But I guess the idea is that it doesn't come with as much oomph, because this pawn is not controlling the center. Whereas if you were able to get this push without this pawn, then this pawn and this pawn build a nice center for you. So that's one idea. Or you could even try to keep it closed with like this. I can't really do it like that. But you could do it like this. Although I don't love that, to be honest. Juan, any ideas for white here? Would you still push?
Well, I guess here then now D3 actually becomes a more viable option for me. I would say like I still want development of the knight and bishop, so instead of actually trying to open up the center, just go D3
Mm-hmm.
and still give yourself like the opportunity to get that out.
Yeah. I guess you're trying to get the bishop and the knight out first before you commit to opening the center.
Yeah.
My only thing whenever I see structures like this is does black have a way to shut down your chances of opening up the center? And if that's the case, then you have to act fast. I don't think that's the case here, which is why I think D3 is okay. But in a situation where black could like shut down your chances of opening the center, then it's dangerous to do something like this if you want an open position.
All right.
If you want a closed position, then this is perfectly fine. I think, though, in this case, there's no really good way to stop this push, ever. So you could always go for it. And I think that's another benefit, that you could keep D4 in your back pocket, as opposed to directly going for it. Aaron, any thoughts?
I think I kind of like pushing D4 to open up the position more.
You're more of a D4 guy?
Yeah, and I think let's say we do a mass series of trades on D4. I kind of like the idea of playing against an isolated queen pawn.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And then I've also restricted the knight's retreat square as well too on C6.
Right. But I think the next move that's coming from black is this.
This is true.
And then this rook. So you're not the only one under fire here. And black can always try to chuck this pawn. Yeah, not here, but it does also prevent this push.
But I also kind of like the idea of having knight F5 as well.
Ah, yeah, that's good.
And then having some pressure on that G pawn.
True.
H6 potentially as well too.
Yeah, that's a good knight.
Pawn.
Can't lie, that's a good knight.
Yeah, and then I know I can't get my queen immediately to G4, but maybe I can lift my queen up to the third rank and then, either be that way, or I feel like putting it on the diagonal is asking for some trouble.
Yeah.
But then again, actually, if I do play queen to D3, I am stopping my bishop from being the first line of defense.
That's true, but this is still two pieces for a rook, and you'd love to see this bishop off the board. You'd love to see this bishop off the board.
And even I think there's some potential for a rook lift if you want as well.
True. I like that for white. I mean, it's a lot more double-edged. Believe it or not, this has been played many times with actually very equal chances, and, well, not actually very equal chances, I'm sorry. Not a lot of wins. Not a lot of wins for black. Actually, white is pretty good here. You can only really try to, most of the time it seems like you can really only go for a draw here. At least that's empirically what's happened in the past. That black is really only playing for a draw here, and that white is better off.
Yeah, and what I kind of like too is I know the dark square bishop for black is, it's really a tall pawn right now.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, this is ugly.
Yeah, but let's say potentially black does want to open up the position. So let's say, for example, I guess really and truly the best way to open up the position is to push the D pawn, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there are some ideas that you can have too where
I'm considering this though.
Pushing is an idea. I'm thinking maybe you might even want to trade the knight for that bishop now because I don't like the bishop getting to this diagonal.
True.
Right?
And then you can even take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now you have a discovered attack on the queen.
True.
If the queen wants to move back to, I guess, what's a square you would recommend for the queen here?
Probably D2.
Okay. Yeah, D2 makes sense.
I mean, sorry, D7. Jeez.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, D7.
You do have to be careful about your knight getting. No, your knight's not trapped. It can always go here.
Yeah, the knight still has.
I mean, what did you want to do? D6?
Um,
I think you
that's a good
should.
question.
What? I think you should eyeball this pawn regardless, because you're winning this pawn pretty. I think this is best because you can't even, if you even try to defend it with the rook, you can't do that here. Whereas here you can at least try to defend this pawn.
Mm-hmm.
I personally like d6 better.
You like d6 better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought it's like for white, then like he can have these ideas with the dark square bishop, and then
Like here?
or even like pin it to the knight even.
Yeah.
Get some ideas on that king side.
Yeah, so this also, this defends the knight laterally, so you're not even threatening to take this when you go here. Yeah, I like d6.
Yeah, I like queen d6 there a lot more too, and I mean we get a much more open position where white has the bishop here.
Yeah. So that's I mean I don't usually do this, but I want to pull up engine eval to see what I think it likes. Yeah, I mean it likes white better here, undoubtedly. Not by that much, but I think I would hate to play this as black.
Yeah, definitely, and I mean, I'm kind of curious. Let's say we play this out queen d6, right?
Yeah.
What move does white make here?
I would probably just develop the knight, give up this pawn. I'm not protecting that pawn.
I think my concern with developing the knight right away is pushing the b pawn
Before.
for black.
Then I might have this little trick. Now I am defending the pawn. You can pile up, don't get me wrong.
Then what if I push my f pawn now?
Push your f pawn? It's a little weakening.
It is a little weakening, but
and now this rook's got a little threat here.
Right, but I was thinking about doing like a potential rook lift now.
Here?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have to say I'm not in love with it because I just have all sorts of weird like tactical things. For example, I might even consider putting the bishop on this diagonal.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
I like that.
And it also cuts the knight off of this square. Now this knight is completely out of the game. So you have to work for getting this. You have to work on getting this pawn back. In the meantime, I'm gonna. If you ever do get this pawn back, by the way, the rook might be able to infiltrate on the 7th rank. I can see the bishop eyeing that as well. So I'm not super in love with it.
No, that's definitely some good points because I think it's even though you can potentially shift the rook to the g file, there's not really too much to attack there.
Yeah, the bishop's a great defender, unfortunately, and then right behind it is the queen. So, yeah, I don't know, and I can rook lift too, right? This rook's got free reign of this file. So yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily go for that. I don't think.
Right. No, those are some very good points.
All right, continuing on, d5. So this is crazy to me. Would you really do this? I would not do this. I've played positions like this, and I just don't like playing them on. I mean, I don't like playing them as black. Black doesn't have space, but I don't like playing them as white either. Like you're just asking for f5.
But I mean, like for like that in that push, like that doesn't matter because like white already has his light square like aimed at that.
Yeah, it doesn't work here, but I think the idea is you're going to route both the knights in this direction, actually, the queen side, and then you're going to get f5 and trade these bishops off, and then this pawn becomes weaker.
I don't know. I feel like my sense is telling me that he's trying to emphasize that king side. Like he wants the attack on the king side, so he wants to close up the center as much as possible.
Gotcha. Yeah. If you think white's trying to go for the king side initiative,
Yeah.
It's hard though. How are you gonna get your pieces towards the king side as white? Like this knight can't go anywhere, and if this knight can't move, then this queen can't move.
Yeah, I mean
you almost have. Oh, go ahead, Juan.
No, I was just like it's definitely like a journey, like for all those pieces to be developed on the king side, but I would say like just clogging up the center just helps. Like I think he intentionally clogs up the center just so that he gets like some time.
Yeah, but I think the time might actually be for the queenside initiative because that's where he has all the pieces aligned, if that makes sense.
But what would be the incentive to
Open up the queenside.
Yeah.
I assume this bishop becomes strong, right? This is one thought I have. If it's allowed to be on the queenside with no consequence. Well, I guess it's not strong. It's just eating shit right there. I don't know. I think my idea to open up the queen side, or maybe you can really slow play it. Like I might even consider like these sorts of things, and then moving the knight, and then playing f4. No, it's then you might be thinking about a kingside initiative, but I don't actually. This is exactly the problem. I have no idea what to do here. That's white.
I like the f4 push for white. Like I like bringing the knight back either to like h2 or
Yeah,
E2.
H2 is nice actually because you can get over here.
Yeah, and then that f4 push is like kind of like appealing after the h2.
Yeah, then you can really chip at the center and keep this closed at the same time.
Yeah, that's my thought.
Yeah, I mean, I guess another thing that we would have to consider too is, let's say that we play it out. So, let's say that eventually we do get knight to h2 to eventually push our f pawn, right?
Yeah, let's say like this.
So, yeah, so like, let's say white wants to push their f pawn like we were talking about. So pawn f4. I don't know, would you want to play this now or would you want to do?
Well, I can't play it now. It's black's turn. So let's say black plays. I don't know. What'd you play even here? Should I even play bishop b7 when there's no way this thing's getting open?
Maybe instead of bishop b7, maybe a move for black is maybe you want your bishop to defend that f5 square.
Yeah.
So maybe you move your knight. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, this is a theoretical. This has happened in a number of games. Actually, wow, this is like one of the most popular moves. Definitely makes sense. As we've said, the knights are getting to this queen side, and you're defending f5. So yeah, now I don't know. Do we even want to open this up?
So what's the threat on the queen side with that
So
c4 square?
I gotta say it's not an immediate thing, but okay. Well, there is something. You're holding back this bishop's initiative. I guess you can kick the knight, so it's not a big deal here. But you might even be able to do this.
Yeah, that clogs up the queen side for white.
Yeah, although it also clogs it up for black because that's really the only prospect these knights had here. Now they got to make a long journey back.
Well, not necessarily. You do have the c5 square for the knight now.
Yeah, like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that might be an idea too. Close positions are so tough. All right. Unfortunately, for the sake of time, we got to move forward. Okay, so we had d4, and then we had wow. Knight d7. Wait. Hold on. d5. Oh, my bad. Wait.
So after d5, what did
we had bishop c2, c5, d4, knight d7. Oh, wow. I didn't even play the right move. I apologize. Wait. I think we might have the wrong game. Do we? Fischer and Keres, 1962. Bishop c2, c5, d4, and here knight d7 was played. Yeah. Oh, you didn't push. You played d takes c5.
Okay, that makes more sense there.
Huh. Is this all incorrect? I downloaded the PGN and it was like not correct. Surprisingly. Huh. Hold on.
Do you have the notation still?
Yeah, I have it in the book, so we could just run it through. That's just weird though. Okay. Okay, so we have d takes c5. And then we had so yeah, d takes c5 is oh, there's a little bit of mention here. Now it is not easy to find a satisfactory continuation for white. Keres' novelty introduced on this occasion has since become quite fashionable. I wasn't still unimpressed. Black loses time redeveloping his knight to b6, but the king side is weakened by its absence. And it's questionable whether the knight is not better where it stands originally. So Fischer actually does not like Keres' approach. Yeah, so he took on c5, and then D takes C5. It's played.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. I feel like a lot of people would want to take with the knight at first glance. I mean, in this case, it actually just loses immediately. So that's part one. But also, even if it wasn't losing immediately, you don't want to keep a backwards pawn like this. I think this actually looks a lot better. You can build the chain this way. Otherwise, this pawn just looks so ugly. It's blocking everything. So I think taking on c5 makes sense. Then we had knight b to d2. I'm actually surprised he didn't develop the bishop first.
I guess if you develop the bishop first, then now you have knight c4 with tempo.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is also weak. I wonder if this happen a lot of Ruy Lopez's. I think it does, where this bishop is just stuck here a lot. Not really sure. But okay. Let's promote make main line. Okay. I don't know what the heck happened. But knight b to d2 is played, and then queen to c7, question mark, according to Bobby Fischer. Huh. I guess the question is, what the hell does that do?
Well, I was thinking of like for White's move, like push to b4, the pawn of b4,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. Maybe the thought is that if Black takes on b and then White retakes on.
Oh, you're saying White wants to push?
Yeah, so I would like want to try like b4 and then like that Black takes on b, then you take back, and then like if the queen's there, then I don't know. There's like some.
I think the problem with that is practically it's not happening here, right? Because the bishop can always take back, and he's defending the knight.
Mhm.
Queens are eyeing each other. So, like, again, these files are not dangerous when the queens look at each other. They're more dangerous, obviously, when a rook is looking at a queen, or, you know, like here, I don't mind queen trades. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, my whole idea is like that's just like a distraction for just so the dark square bishop for White can go on to b2 and just get that nice lining to.
This way?
Yeah, it's just more of like a.
Yeah, I could see the idea is to incentivize like just a distracting, but again, you don't want to give up a pawn like this unless you're sure that your queen side can open up, because you have to ask yourself which side is Black is even trying to attack on, and if it's on the king side, then you don't really want to open up the queen side at the same time.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, queen c7, I'm not really seeing too much benefit from. I mean, queen b6 maybe.
I would have liked queen b6 a bit more, yeah.
Yeah, so that way you can slide across the sixth rank in case you do want to attack on the king side.
I like that. I also just don't move the queen. Develop the bishop. Like, whatever. There's also a really interesting suggestion from the book here. A move I wouldn't think to play initially. Like
f5.
f6.
Oh.
Apparently there's a variation that that actually destroys this, but for a long time this was thought to be one of the best approaches. At least guaranteeing like some sort of equality. I think the reason this was refuted, if I'll show this little breakdown, f6. F6, what happened was knight h4. Whoa. What?
Just play queen.
Oh, f6, knight h4. Knight b6. That's what happened in one game. Knight f5, as we've wanted to do. Rook f7. And then queen g4. Huh. This was a reputation supposedly. Yeah, can you let me know? There's also, and then king h8, sorry, this continues, king h8, h4. So yeah, this is apparently why you can't do that. I could see there's an attack, but it doesn't seem so tangible to me.
We're like mid game.
Well, if you push the G pawn, you still have knight to h6.
Yeah. Well, no, you don't. Oh, you do. Ooh, spicy. Okay, so don't play f6.
I think at that point you might have to just give up your lights for bishop for that knight. But that's
Yeah,
not
that
going to be a fun position to play.
no. Okay. Great. So we had I gotta fast forward a little bit, otherwise we're never gonna get out of here. Knight b to d2, queen to c7 question mark. We have knight f1. This is actually a maneuver you see in the Ruy Lopez a lot. You bring the knight to f1 in order to bring it to the king side. It might also happen, yeah, it's this knight. Because this knight is actually awkward here, so you often like reroute it. It's not getting here or here, really, in any useful fashion. So you really move it this way. Okay, so knight b6, knight e3. Oh, sorry. Knight b6, knight e3. Where is knight e3? Hold on. Knight f1, knight b6, knight e3. Okay, nothing wrong with this so far. We're still trying to get these knights might get very dangerous soon. I'm liking white's position better now. And like notice the queen off the file. I guess the idea is to bring the rook there, but maybe I want to move my queen anyway. So I don't know. Oh, knight d5. Knight d5. No, bishop. I'm crazy. Bishop e6, which is kind of interesting. He didn't want to develop it to this diagonal, which I find kind of surprising. But I guess you just believe this is never going to happen, and now knight f5. So yeah, he went this away. And then white found a good move that I might have already said, but let's see. So what are our thoughts here?
Would knight to f5 still be like a decent option? I feel like that still would be like pretty.
Yeah, I actually don't hate it. I think they get a tempo. You gotta move. Problem is, it's kind of ugly. Like, where do you move? You have to move your queen here, right? Unless you want to block. If you move your queen here, then maybe they can go here. Ooh. I don't know. I mean, you are going to get this bishop. But what the hell is it doing anyway? Although knight f5 looks nice, I mean, in the future, you can't really... It's hard to, like, get rid of it without just taking it, because pushing any pawn is, like, very weakening.
Yeah.
So I'm not completely against that move. I like it. Any other suggestions?
What about like b4?
b4.
Oh wait, I think that just loses a pawn.
Yeah, currently it does. Juan was actually bringing this one up, but here it's not great. Also gets tempo on the rook. And black is in a better position to have the open files than you are. So I think this would kind of kill your shot. It's very tough in these positions to know when to open things up and when not to. I think you have to be very mindful that this would actually justify queen c7. We were talking about how this move is kind of awkward in the way things are situated, but I think a move like this might actually justify it because it actually gives the queen the open file. So you have to be careful there.
I mean, a possible idea I'm thinking of, but I didn't fully calculate it out yet, though, is but knight d5.
And that is indeed what Fischer played. Bishop d6, bishop e6. Sorry, bishop e6 was what was actually played. Let me promote that. Main line. Knight d5 is what Fischer played. And I think it looks pretty. However, I also did not calculate this.
the length that I saw so far was, the knight takes knight,
Knight takes knight.
pawn takes.
Yep.
So now you have a tempo on the bishop. I'm wondering where do you put that bishop now?
Well, it can go to either of these squares. That's really your only options, right?
Right.
I would say
Okay.
probably here, but that closes the file for your rook. But
But then
here,
if you put it on c8, then your a rook is not doing too much then.
but you might have ideas of rerouting it this way if you really
This is
want
true.
to.
Right? And then you are going to pick up a pawn with your knight as well too.
Ooh, true that. And that's actually what happened in the game, believe it or not. But we had e takes d5. Wait, sorry, did I miss a move? Queen e2 was played before bishop e6. I'm sorry. Hold on. Knight e3. Knight e3. Oh, black threw in this move. My apologies.
Oh.
Okay.
Rook d8.
And-
Now this is a different story. Rook d8,
Yeah.
queen e2, bishop e6. This is how the game went, and then we still had knight d5, surprisingly. And just
I
as
mean,
Hmm?
kind of the same concept here though.
yeah, just like you said. But now, I mean, you can take this. It's the only difference.
Right.
It's a little different, and it looks like you've really given black what they want to some degree.
But now you've also freed up your light square bishop that was just staring at the
Exactly.
the e pawn previously.
So it's still double-edged in that respect. And so what would you do here as white? I want to hear from, like, let's say Orion or Juan.
Why not just take the pawn?
That is indeed what they did. Take the pawn. All right, this is one of the first like GM moves that I saw in this that this game has.
I think maybe a good thing to explain too is why you take the knight and not the queen.
Okay. What's your explanation as to why you would do that?
Well, in one essence, if you trade off queens, you're kind of giving up your attack.
True.
I
I think that's the central reason because I think
yeah,
white is really about to like explode on the king side.
exactly. So that's why you probably want to take with the knight over the queen there.
Yeah. All right, so I don't think anyone would find this move except for like some sort of GM nonsense. So
Black.
Yeah, it's black.
Ooh.
The move that black's about to play.
Yep.
Oh.
I don't know, like something quirky like bishop to like c4 or something.
Bishop to c4. That is quirky. I won't deny that.
I don't know if it's good, but definitely quirky.
It's definitely quirky.
But I think that just loses material though.
You're saying knight takes? Yeah. It's bishop
Oh,
to
right,
c4.
that bishop. Then my other thought would be like dark square bishop, like d6.
Dark square bishop d6. Yeah, I would think about it too, to be honest. So eyeballing this.
Yeah.
What would you do here as white? Maybe some. Oh, this looks actually really gross. You might be able to double sacrifice. I'm not sure, but you might be able to. Like, they have to play this move because you're attacking this. I guess you're not attacking this. They could play this move. Then I might sacrifice.
Yeah, but it's not that bad.
It's not that bad. You do have to address this though, so you have to either play this or this.
Yeah.
And then the rook lift might be coming next. And I might play f4 to support the knight instead of running away with it. Although, again, I don't hate it. I think it's definitely a reasonable choice. Black played something that he's anticipating. The point is that he's anticipating the attack on this rank. It's a hint. So your idea is nice because it allows the queen to start defending this rank.
Yeah.
The two moves that come into my mind are, unless Orion or Juan, you want to give more suggestions first.
Rook a7.
That's actually what was played. Rook a7.
I mean, you gave it away by
Yeah.
saying to defend the rook.
But this is like a crazy like GM thought. Like I would never think to do this. What were your thoughts, Aaron?
Two moves that came to my mind were bishop f6 or playing f6 itself.
I see. Yeah, that's another idea. Although now it weakens these two, right? So I'm thinking f6. Like maybe I just get my knight here. I'm attacking your bishop. If you're not careful, like how do you defend this guy? You gotta move him. You can't even do something like this because this comes in.
Okay. That's a very good point there.
So nasty. There's a lot of nastiness just hiding in this position. What was the other? So, oh yeah, okay. Bishop f6 may be better, but still same concept.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
you can't do this. Obviously, you get mated.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why I wouldn't like that move too much.
Yeah, if it came down to this position, then I'd probably have to move my queen to somewhere like c6 to
Yeah,
defend the
c6.
bishop and
I
put
guess
pressure
that's
on
an
the
idea.
g-pawn.
Yeah, I still might take this. I might
Yeah,
take
just
that,
kinda
or I can threaten
asking
my
them
own
what to
mate.
do.
Threaten my own mate.
Mhm.
I don't know. If I get the bishop pair, I feel like I'm kind of happy. This knight's still offsides.
This is true.
And then, like, I don't know, threaten some shit like this.
Yeah. I mean, I guess in that case, you can move your bishop back to e6 to threaten the queen a little bit. But,
In that case, oh, geez, I don't even know what variation.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I like white better here
Mm-hmm.
by some margin.
I like white better here too. Here you're probably forced to play g6.
Yeah, or I got another funny one for you. Could go here
Mm-hmm.
and then win that pawn.
That's a nice idea.
So yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I think this is a very this is kind of instructive because no one thinks to do this. Freaking rook sorry. Rook a7. Main line. Yeah, I think very few people think to do something like this, but it's actually a great idea. Because when you think about it, like where is this rook going to go otherwise? This rook is committed to this file. If this rook is committed to this file, you could maybe consider bringing this rook to this file. But the fact is that this rook is actually stopping this rook from getting more mobility. So okay, rook a7. Bobby gives here an absolutely insane series of variations that I refuse to go over because it looks ridiculous. He shows like a 9-move forced line with a bunch of sidelines. If you're interested, I do recommend picking up the book and looking through it. It is game 38 in the book. All right. So instead, white opts for bishop f4, also with some nice threats. You're already threatening a discovery on the queen, so you have all sorts of interesting places to put the knight. Maybe even here. Nah, not there. But you have a lot of interesting threats here. So black opts for queen b6. Kind of reasonable. And Well, white just brings the rook to the open file. So everything's working in white's favor right now.
Wait, Orion, isn't the bishop undefended? So if you move the knight, wouldn't you just be able to?
This is actually another benefit of the rook. You're saying it's undefended, right? So if I move the knight, but where am I going to move the knight?
Oh, to defend it, I guess. So like I don't know. No, before when you were threatening the discovery.
Yeah.
If you move the knight and you're not defending the bishop, queen just takes bishop.
Right, you're right. So the only real discovery that's threatened immediately is this. The reason I was looking at this one is you could maybe take the rook, but I don't know. This one, and my point being that you could maybe then support the bishop, and then all those discoveries also become stronger. Okay, rook ad1 was played after here.
You know, I was kind of curious too, why queen b6 rather than queen b7?
Queen b7. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting point. Why not queen b7? Can't give you a good answer. Okay. I'm thinking if the knight moves now, you can get both rooks on this file. The queen might actually be like clogging up this rook by doing that.
But I mean, you are threatening the g pawn.
Yeah.
Which g pawn?
I don't know. I'm not too concerned. Or you know what? Forget that. You know, like
Sure.
I want my queen here anyway. Okay. So we had rook ad1, and there's actually a threat here. Anyone see the threat that white is making by playing rook ad1? I'll point out that it is a tactic that involves a sacrifice.
Oh, I mean, I was just gonna say like the bishop sacrifice on h was I was
So
thinking
what?
about.
Yeah, you're looking like because you want to X-ray.
Yeah,
Problem is the knight's in the way, right?
yeah.
But similar concept actually, very similar concept. It involves that concept of the queen bishop combination, but in a different
Was
way.
it knight sacrifice?
Where would you put the knight?
On that?
Problem is the bishop can take.
Wait, why don't you take with the rook, take the bishop, and then sack?
Wait, no, but if
Wait.
bishop takes, then rook takes rook.
Bishop takes, rook takes rook.
Let's check. Bishop takes back. Then queen.
No, the bishop doesn't have to take back. Queen can take.
Queen takes. Well, then the queen can check on the back rank.
The queen can.
Oh, no, it can't.
Not, yeah, because the bishop is actually stopping
wow,
it.
yeah, stop.
Yeah. Although queen takes is kind of yeah. Wait, no, yeah, because you just traded this rook. Although you do have two pieces eyeing this, but the queen is unfortunately in front of the rook, so you can't actually take that. Everything is like just barely defended. Yeah.
So the jury rule out. I'm sorry, which line did we just?
We
go over?
ruled out any sorts of knight or bishop sacrifices off rip.
Oh, okay.
So it's the rook sack for some reason.
It is the rook sack.
Mhm.
And what happens if rook takes back?
I immediately thought fork, but then the rook covers the
Where would you
eaves.
fork?
Well, I'm saying that I would have wanted to. Oh, actually, no, never mind. That doesn't work. That's not a fork.
So it is a rook sack.
It is the rook sack.
And
What's the follow up though? You can't just sack a rook and do nothing. It involves a concept similar to yours.
oh well, I mean, is this the knight sacrifice now?
No, you don't have to sacrifice again. Although it's an interesting thought.
Because the bishop's not.
Yeah.
Bishop's not defending it anymore.
Yeah, I was looking at two different moves to debate between, but I'll let
But
Orion and
Actually,
Bob
really
get
interesting
some more
point.
time here.
Really interesting point. If the queen was not here, you could maybe get a check in here after the rook takes. But and then you could take the rook that way. Similar idea though. There's a lot of similar concepts. So we're looking at rook takes, rook takes. Yeah, it's a fork. It's a fork, but it's a difficult one to find.
Yeah, Orren, I'm kind of curious your thought process on it. I want to definitely give Juan and Orion
Yeah.
more time to look through it.
Yeah, rook takes back, like black takes back.
Yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah.
Give up a. Maybe that's why I might actually agree with Aaron's choice, by the way, to put the queen on b7.
I was thinking maybe move the bishop to attack the rook and then a knight move or something.
You were eyeing that h7 square, right?
Yeah.
Is there a way to eye that h7 square again?
Oh, it's a queen?
Queen where the
H bottom?
queen h5 is not as good as another queen move that does the same thing.
Oh, E4?
Yeah, and think about this. Is the rook defended when it's here?
No.
Can you address the mate threat? No. Yeah, so you lose
Wait,
the rook.
that's a mate? Can you just move the king?
King here, queen check.
Oh, true.
Nowhere to run.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, that's a nice one. Yeah, Aaron, do you have any question? Do you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, I feel like, the queen e4 I think is the best move, but I feel like something that some people might look at too is after you do rook takes bishop,
Uh-huh.
then rook takes rook. Some might be kind of curious what happens if you had done bishop takes h7 afterwards.
Yeah. Juan was actually looking into this one. So,
Okay.
let's play a dummy move for black. I don't even know how to play a dummy move for black.
Yes.
I just play a dummy move for black.
Meat threat.
Yeah.
Rook takes,
It's like you
Rook
like
takes.
agrees. Thinking, oh,
bishop takes h7.
Right.
So weird, like
The idea is king takes here, right?
this looks scary. Like, this
Oh, I was thinking about doing queen e4 check to pick up the rook from
Oh,
there.
that's also an idea, I think.
Yeah.
One reason that might not work is no one said I have to take.
Right. This is very true. No one said you have to take, but it's such a very nice looking position, but it's definitely not as strong. And I guess the downside is the dummy move that we made allows for bishop to e4.
Yeah. Not a good dummy move.
So-
Let's find. It's so hard to find a dummy move here, surprisingly.
Mhm.
I literally can't even find one.
Yeah. The only one I can think of is what if you played C. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only one. All right, let's say we do that. Yeah. So you're saying bishop takes, and yeah, my point is you don't have to take. You're still up in exchange.
Right.
Now this bishop comes back. Let's say, probably rook here to start doing this stuff. Although that's kind of
Actually-
dangerous.
Actually, maybe the bishop doesn't have to come back.
Okay.
What if you play something like
Queen f3.
Yeah, queen f3.
Queen f3 is kind of nice. Where would I go? This bishop's threatening to move and threaten mate. Maybe here. This defends the mate.
I don't know about that because now I have knight to g6 check.
Yeah, you do. But double check.
And then
Ooh,
exactly for mate.
that's mate.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, you have to be careful for sure.
Yeah. I think this invites in much more complication than you need.
Yeah, and also, I
It's
mean,
from
maybe even queen
before.
here, then rook here again probably makes sense.
This is true.
You could take,
Um,
this would be discovered check still. Yeah, it's tough.
I mean,
It's
you
tough.
just take with the rook at that point.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, yeah. Take with
Yeah.
the rook. And then you can even take with the queen.
Exactly. Then you don't really have anything here now.
Yeah. So I actually think that, yeah, what Fischer's idea was definitely stronger.
Mhm.
But it's
Yeah,
tough
I
to see.
completely agree.
It's tough to see. It's really tough to see from a distance. And honestly, in a bullet game, I might even consider bishop h7 because it's just so tough to defend properly. Uh,
No, I completely agree that Queen E4 is the best move, but I think looking further into Bishop H7 is just kind of interesting.
no,
to
yeah,
see,
definitely. Because it looks like it very much works, but there's always just that one little nook in the thing.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. Okay. Sorry.
E4.
Yeah. So that didn't happen. This didn't happen because obviously Paul Keres is a grandmaster. So he didn't play any of these moves. He addressed the threat by going bishop to f4. Now, by the way, the same concept, you might think the same concept applies, but
I'm sorry, he played Bishop F6 here?
sorry, bishop f4. What did I say? Hold on, am I crazy? Bishop f. Wait. Rook ad1, g6. I'm so insane. I'm sorry. Shutting down everything. No more sacks. No more mates. No nothing. Okay. And then we have let me promote this to the main line. And then we have knight to g4. Yeah, I've wanted this knight here for so long. This I hate this. I hate to be black here. All right. Let's see. Let's see. So okay. Yeah, so we had knight to c4 and black responded with lost my spot.
There's a move that I'm very interested in here, but maybe we have to think a little further. It's okay if I share the move?
Yeah.
What would happen if we played Queen takes E7?
I'm confused and aroused.
Takes.
Huh.
So now what I'm threatening is Bishop to C7.
C7. Bishop to c7?
Yeah, that's my threat right now.
Okay.
So what move would you make here as black?
I don't know, like rook here maybe? Oh, you lose the bishop? Queen here?
Okay. I would think about doing rook takes bishop.
Okay. Queen
It
takes,
might,
you
it
get
might be
forked.
just short.
Yeah.
It might be just short.
Rook
here,
takes.
Yeah, I'm just short here because
You need the bishop here, and then it's great.
yeah, I need the bishop here first. Yeah.
You're thinking like, oh, if the bishop was here, then you could check and then do that because the queen has to take all that nonsense.
Yeah, the move I missed was Queen C6 because
Actually, right
the
here,
queen wasn't defending there.
right here, you do still have a win, just different move order.
Check first.
So if I do check first, right, then knight forks.
Oh, but so annoying. You're still down in exchange.
Take.
You're still down in exchange. Ugh. Damn, that's so close. It's a beautiful idea, but I don't think it works too great. Also, I might not even have to play queen here, per se.
No, I think that's actually the best move, though.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because if you play, where else would you play the queen?
Yeah, well, okay, you're saying maybe it's okay to lose the bishop? No, yeah, I think you gotta move the queen. Or, is there a knight move that works? Oh, yeah, what about...
Yeah. Or maybe when queen goes to c6, queen c6. What if I push my b pawn to attack her knight? And then now I'm giving myself knight to e5. But I feel like this is just going a little too crazy now.
Yeah, I think it's too much.
Yeah. Or, now I do have the option too for rook to c7 to harass the queen even more.
I do get queen here. Oh, no, I get forked.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And
I don't know, like this.
well, I was thinking just push the C pawn again.
Not in love with it. What's the thought process?
Well, what move would you play? C takes. Okay. Um. Okay. No, it's two defenders on there because of that queen, so that's not ideal. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, this
Yeah,
tactics are so
yeah,
annoying.
short.
Yeah, geez. I mean, this is played really on a razor's edge. I mean, like everything, just one thing out of place would kill you here. Okay.
Right. But yeah, just kind of
No, cool idea. Cool
caught my
idea.
eye at first there.
Very cool idea. Okay. We have knight c4 and black plays bishop to h6. It's starting to look kind of dire, I would say. I would hate to be in this position as black. 100%. I would want to die. Okay. We have bishop e6, hoping to just at least cut off the file. Then we have bishop to b3, surprisingly. This is a move I don't understand. Supposedly a very good move.
Well, I mean, black is threatening that pawn on b2, so maybe he's opening that. He's moving bishop up so the queen can defend that.
Oh, the knight? Oh, yeah, that's true. That does serve that purpose.
And also, the bishop on c7 is just staring at a wall too. So,
The bishop on
Yeah.
c7?
sorry, not c7, c2. When the bishop was on c2,
Right, yeah,
just
it wasn't really
staring at
doing
a
much.
wall.
Yeah, and the other point is the pin, actually. There's 3 attackers here.
Yeah.
Okay. Queen b8. Wow, that's a sad move to have to play. Okay. We have a trade, which is kind of surprising. What do we take with? Question number 1.
Really? Bishop?
That's what Bobby did. I mean, sorry, Paul Keres. What Keres did.
Yeah.
Why not with the queen, though?
I mean, like my thought was is that like white could just like gain some like momentum by just like attacking it with the rook or something.
Yeah, you do get a tempo here.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like you don't want to trade another pair of rooks. Your attack's kind of fizzling out there.
My other thought is also like moving bishop back, or like taking with the bishop actually gives that opportunity for black to reroute it into like the to B or whatever.
Yeah.
6 or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else? Ooh, there's actually a very surprising reason.
I mean, I didn't fully calculate this out yet, but what if bishop takes knight?
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm assuming you probably want to take with the bishop, right?
Yeah, there's actually a good reason. If pawn takes, what happens?
Well, now I'm looking at queen e5 is staring at.
That's exactly right. Queen to e5. And then, well, what the heck do you do?
Maybe you just resign at this point.
Yeah. I mean, it's really terrible.
Yeah.
You gotta give up. You gotta give up the
You gotta give up the bishop.
yeah. So obviously you have to take with the bishop. Obviously. Yeah. Not obviously, but because of that. And there's actually a follow-up here.
Wait, so did he take with the queen or the?
He took with the bishop for this reason that we're looking at right now. Wow, this is insane.
I think one means before, like on the 8th rank.
Yeah. My point is, this is actually not what happened in the game.
He's just
This is what happens if you're not careful.
I mean, it's
I have an idea.
Okay.
Is it knight f6 check?
It is.
Oh yeah.
And then back rank mate.
Yeah, so you have to move the king actually to h8.
Mm-hmm. And then now you can centralize your queen to e5.
Yeah, that's exactly the variation, and you're just busted. You are. There's just nothing you can do here. So, for that reason, Juan's intuition was right. You have to take with the bishop. Okay. Okay. Queen B. Wait, bishop takes d8. Bishop takes c4 anyway. B takes c4. You can't play bishop takes c4. Anyone see why? The back ranker. So you have to take. This is an ugly pawn structure now, although you might have the bishop pair, but there is just one kind of critical move here that converts the advantage in a different way. We said the bishop can't move off this file, right?
Yeah.
So
It is a tricky move to see.
Oh, can you just take the pawn with
Yeah.
the queen?
yeah, you can. Bishop can't take because of the mate still. That's actually what he played in the game. Let's make this the main line. Queen takes c4. This is what he calls cashing in, converting a spatial advantage to a material one. We have queen d6 from black. Queen a4 from white, threatening mate on the spot. And it's not an easy threat to address.
Do you think maybe we should take a step back to say, why queen d6 instead of queen takes on b2?
Yeah. Why not queen takes on b2?
Oh, hey, Juan and Orion, do you guys have any ideas
I mean, like-
in this position?
My thought is that like white can just take the bishop on.
That was my first thought too, and I think it works, right?
Get that
I
check.
think so.
Yeah, I mean you can block with the rook, but there's
Yeah.
mate. The only thing I had to make sure is that this check, doesn't do anything, which I don't think it does.
Wait, why can't you check with bishop there?
Where? Here?
Black's bishop. I
So
think
when you
the
go
check,
here?
the king moves, and then
Yeah,
Block with
that's what I'm thinking. But
now bishop
yeah,
on
Push.
block with pawn.
yeah. Let's say one of these. I don't know which one's better.
I would lean more towards the g pawn.
I know. Okay. Yeah. Sure. You still can't take this.
Mm.
So that is something to be mindful of. Like when you want to do these sacrifices, if your back rank, if the bishop was here, then the game's over.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not over actually. There's a queen trade. But
We'll go down the exchange.
yeah, you have to be careful. You have to be very careful in these situations. But yeah, it is an actual threat. Okay, so we had instead in the game queen d6, queen here threatening the mate. Queen a4, queen e7, offering this trade, hoping that this attack is finally over, and he gets hit with another one. Another killer move. This is so, I mean, it's just ridiculous that you could even get away with this.
Does that have to do with the knight?
Yeah,
Is it the check? I don't know.
it actually is.
Wait, I don't
I
I
don't
don't see
know.
a follow up though.
Yeah, right? I don't either immediately. What is the follow-up? What is the follow-up? Am I insane? He played king h8. Oh, wait. Was the bishop where we're saying it is? Yeah. Queen e7. Am I insane? Bishop's there. Queen d6. Queen a5. Queen a4. Queen e7. Queen e7. Oh. Sorry. Queen e7.
Oh, okay.
Different story, right? Because with Queen e7, you can actually get away with the sacrifice again. The mate's still there.
Okay, so
My bad.
Yeah, maybe Queen D7 was the better move.
I think I agree. I think Queen d7 was a lot better. You need this bishop to defend this stuff. I played it because it's like it just seems like definitely the better move. But okay.
but you did E7.
Yeah, and this is already really bad. Okay. Knight f6, king h8, knight d5. He's really playing with this pin. He's really abusing that pin. What do you do now?
Attack the knight with a rook.
Well, your queen's under attack.
Oh, that's facts. Resign the game.
There is actually one and only one move that's okay here. Everything else loses.
Is it the move you were saying before now?
Yeah. Because if you move the queen too far, obviously you still get mated.
Yeah.
So you have to play this move. Should I trade queens? Going once, going twice?
No.
Definitely not. Queen e4. Which I think is
Yeah.
also crazy.
I am kind of curious if we go back to where you played Queen E7.
Yeah.
This,
Wait, earlier?
no, like go forward one more move. No,
Yeah, I know. I just
so-
went to the wrong variation. Sorry.
gotcha.
King d7. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me make this the main line. So, yeah.
No, not here. Like after he had played the knight d5 to pin. So like, can
Yeah,
you go
knight
back to
d5.
Right. Kind of curious here, but could bishop e7 work?
Maybe. Actually. No.
Takes, rook takes.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that rook in the file there.
Poor little liability sitting there the whole
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
Yeah. Queen e4. Can we take the knight?
No, because you just give a check and then with a queen, right?
Yeah. Can I take it with the queen?
Wait, it's not okay.
No, what if I take it?
Oh no, the back ring.
Yeah,
That's
so that
right.
might be it.
Pops up everywhere in this game. I hate this. This is such a nightmare. This is such a nightmare. Okay, so Queen e4. Let's see what was actually played. Queen e4, Queen d6 again. All right. Not much more we can do here. Knight f4. The knight's dancing, the queen's dancing. All right, let me promote this. Make this main line. Rook e7. Bishop to g5. Wow. Oh wait, bishop to g5. Good looking move. All right, things are getting spicy again. Rook to e8. And now what do we do?
Wait, quick question. So before rook to e8, what was wrong with f6?
f6?
Yeah.
It's not protected.
Oh wait, yeah, check it. Never mind. That's what's wrong.
You could go here maybe. But this just protects the back rank a little bit. This is really counterintuitive.
Kind of feels like instead of playing rook to e8,
Uh-huh.
just I didn't look at it fully yet, but what if we had played bishop to f5?
Bishop to f5. I'm looking at this.
And bishop takes. And then, yeah.
Yeah, that looks okay. Maybe
So
not
there has
supposed
to
to
be
take.
something here.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Bishop takes rook, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Down an exchange
Yeah.
again. Down more than an exchange, down a whole ass
down
round.
full piece, yeah.
Mm.
Such a rough position there.
Such a rough position. If you're playing this game in like a tournament setting, that's just a nightmare.
100%.
Okay. So we have rook e8, and this is where the counterintuitive move is played.
What move?
Yeah.
Is it queen move?
No. Like, what do I mean by counterintuitive? This piece looks very good. That's what I mean by counterintuitive.
Trade it.
Yeah. It looks very good, but he actually gives it away. And this is really interesting. He has to take with the rook. There's actually a pretty interesting variation here. Queen takes. Then you have queen e5 check. You can't move the king because of knight d5 wins the game basically outright. Sorry. That's not knight d5. Knight d5 wins the game outright.
Oh yeah.
Can you explain why that wins a game?
Yeah. So if you go here, what are you gonna do? Give me any suggestion as black.
Just take with the bishop. Oh, yeah, never mind.
And you're playing down the exchange and down
Yeah.
the pawn as well, so
Yeah,
in the long run,
you're
yeah.
dead there.
I mean, I guess if you did want to play that fully, right? So, bishop takes knight.
Yeah, but isn't that best? What if I try this? Oh, actually, hold on.
Yeah, you're gonna get wrecked here.
How though?
Yeah, that's a good point, right? Well, the first thing you do is knight to d7 check.
I thought about that. Yeah, f6.
Takes bishop.
Oh, right. The queen defense. Yeah, that's the way. This is the way. Oh, okay. Yeah, and then you just take the rook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're dead no matter what you do here. Okay. We're trying to wrap this up in a few minutes. So let's see. We're pretty close to the end here. So yeah, queen takes d8, not as good. Rook takes d8 was played. And then let me go to make main line. Rook takes d8. And then we had knight takes e6. It looks like he's liquidating absolutely everything, which he is. But if you look at the final position, you're just up 2 pawns.
Yeah.
This is a really good demonstration of how to convert a complete tactical attacking position, whatever advantage, is pure material. I think it's a really, really good demonstration of that. And he knew exactly when to cash in.
I would probably lose this endgame as white.
Yeah, I've successfully done that too before.
I mean, I guess you could play that.
Yeah, he did. He did. We'll play it out here. We had Rook D1 check. King H2. Rook D2. You have to find a pretty critical move here. You're going to give up one of your pawns. He plays Rook B6. We have Rook takes F2.
Why? Why not just take the pawn on the A file?
Well, you're kind of splitting these two, which is kind of annoying. Because this might be a bit easier to draw. I mean, I think it's still winning. Don't get me wrong. But it's kind of hard to defend everything. Like, your rook's here.
True.
Get some king activity for black.
Yeah. So instead, he opts for the more precise way of doing this, which is just no activity for the king. With this, like, it doesn't even matter. Like, the fact that the king can't move just ends the game for black on the spot. The king is like one of the more... Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could still play it out a little
Yeah.
bit.
So, I mean, king b7... Sorry, rook b7, rook f6. He tries to get his... I don't even know what the heck rook f6 does, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would have done king g8.
I think he's trying to defend his last few pawns. Yeah, king g8 maybe. But really, like, what can you suggest? Okay, let's say I leave the rook on this file, because actually the game ended right here. It was rook f6, king g3, king's coming in, black resigned. But to play it out, I think a bit more sensibly, is like, just keep your rook on the file, right? Let's say here. The technique here would involve incorporating the king and, like, basically getting the king as close to here as possible. You might even give up these two pawns, but one way to do this is to try to get a passed pawn quickly. So even if you don't move the king, you can even go for something like this. And make sure this pawn's out of the way and get the king close. Because if your pawns are further advanced than black's pawns, even if he takes both of these, he still won't have time to queen. So the idea would be to simply mop up the pawns on this side faster than he can mop up the pawns on this side and get them to the other side. And you have all the time in the world to make these moves as white because the king has nowhere to go. So you basically, yeah.
You know, I feel like though playing a3, you're now allowing me to play c4.
Oh, c4.
Yeah.
Yeah, c4 is definitely an idea. That's true. Maybe a3 is not precise. But we need to get this in. I mean, we need to just get our pawns advanced somehow. Maybe, and if you move the rook, you don't... So it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. Maybe bringing the king closer first is better. Another, I think, lesson in endgames is if you don't know what to do, just play an improving move. And I would say this is an improving move. If he checks you, you just bring your king even closer. And now, like, I don't know, this kind of stuff can get really annoying to deal with. And if you ever really go for, like, a crazy wild goose chase, you can always just do this. They take this, you could take this.
But you know what? Actually, in that scenario, once you move your rook off the b file,
the king gets involved. What?
So in that scenario, I would take your b pawn.
Oh, you're right. What's the best way to go about this?
Probably.
It's not super easy. I mean, maybe you really just go for it.
Yeah, probably.
You probably just go for it. Problem is that it does get some counterplay. Good amount of it, too. Yeah, it's not easy.
Maybe the trick there actually is, so can you go back to so let's say we give check. Right?
Yeah.
And then what's the move here for black that you played?
For black?
Yeah, so check that you played was a king to f4.
Yeah, sure.
Then you played what move for black here?
I think I played
was
this.
c2.
Yeah.
Why not king g5?
Just try to go for mate. Just straight up. So check.
King h6.
Check.
Oh no, I was gonna go to h6.
Oh, h6. Ah, that's a cutie. Yeah, wow, that's a good one too. That's another way to go about this. Probably even better. Yeah, so like you can't just check around for nothing either. You can't just check around for nothing either. You kind of have to move the king over too to avoid all that mate stuff. Yeah, it's not. I mean, I think there's just too many weaknesses for black. Don't get me wrong, I'll mess this up a million times out of a million, but
Wait, can you show how you get mate here as white?
oh yeah, the one that Aaron showed was really great. King here instead. If you take this pawn, you go here. The threat is rook here.
Oh.
No way to stop it whatsoever.
Well, I mean, you can. You just play king g8.
Well, yeah. But okay, now you just mop everything. I mean, would you play it this way? I would probably play it this way.
Yeah, probably take with the rook here.
Yeah. I mean, they do get this.
Yeah, this is true. Maybe I'm giving too much counterplay here.
I'm gonna take here. No, he still takes that.
Yeah.
It takes a bit of thought.
Maybe.
I definitely don't know what the best move here is.
Maybe the best idea is, instead of, what's it called? So instead of king g5 immediately,
Push the pawn first.
yeah, maybe push the g pawn first.
Yeah, so that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You could target it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so not easy to play these positions.
Yeah. I mean, now you can play king g3. No, g3?
King g3, yeah.
Yeah. to attack
Aren't we
the
kind of back to square one?
Not necessarily. Now I have king h4.
Hmm.
And then now I can
You can be so
I guess I
annoying.
could always do I could do a waiting move at this point now.
Yeah, like what?
What if I play It's true, it is kind of tough to suggest a waiting move. I mean, the only waiting move I can think of right now is something like c4.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually, this is
playing
not a bad
these.
idea. C4 in general is not a bad idea because the whole point is if you lock that up, now you can go for this stuff. Like, we want to do this. I think this is the way. You really probably should even be playing C4 earlier.
It's tough to tell with these endgames. I mean, maybe even a3 is still fine, and then if you
Mm.
push the b pawn, and
Can you go into the original G5 idea that yeah, so like before the G push.
Yeah,
So king to G5, right?
king to G5.
What's wrong with rook to D5 check?
Oh, you get mated here, yeah.
you go there.
Okay, but what if we
In that
go...
case, you go to the f5.
Yeah. You know what? At this point, I would start just invading this side.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still kind of fucked for black, but
Yeah. It's yeah, but we're back at square one. Like, it's not. These are so. I hate these endgames, but yeah, I mean, Bobby Fischer's gonna win this. I'm not gonna win this. Also, by the way, this is an idea that's been around for a while that I just wanted to see if it works. Forget all this nonsense. Push the pawn. Let him take. Push this pawn.
Yeah, this is probably the cleanest.
I'm like, yeah, you could target this. Now what?
Exactly.
Can't move the
Okay,
king.
yeah.
Check.
Yeah.
So I think this is also a pretty reasonable way. They're probably gonna have to not take that. Probably gonna have to push here.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, I don't know, I'd go like here, here, here. This is even easier. They do get the king in, but like, come on. Come on.
Push the a pawn. I mean, push the a pawn, I guess.
Yeah. Forget that, I'm not taking it.
And
Two connected passers? Like, come on, man.
all right, and then now I switch over to the b file with my rook. And play rook to b4.
Fun. Also, wait. Probably more accurate.
I'll push my A pawn again. Yeah, I guess I just push my A pawn again.
Probably have to move the king
No.
here.
What if rook c2? Yeah, it's getting too far. Yeah, it's way too far.
Yeah. It takes a lot of technique to make this work, but I think that's the move.
Yeah.
All right, well, that wraps it up. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And we'll see you guys around for the next one. Thank you, Aaron, Orion, Juan, for coming through again. Aaron for coming through for the first time, and we look forward to more of these.
And shout out to Orren for taking us through the game.
Yeah,
Grateful as always.
Doing my
Yeah,
best.
thank you for inviting
Of
us.
course. All right, guys, have a good one. We'll end it here.
See you guys next time on
Chesscast.
Chesscast.